Well, I am sad to report my freshman level stick skills and decision making, which was evident in episode 1, those first 4 games, that's carried over, manifested itself in what was designed to be episode 2 in the form of streaming skills. The gameplay, overall recording is unsalvageable, unwatchable. So here, though, is a recap, step by step, game by game, and overall some big recruiting updates where we stand currently. Game 1 was against Ole Miss. We played host. This was the Murderers Row. We played 3 ranked teams, all very good, strong teams. You look at the box score, it was 12-0. We were down at half, but our defense kept putting us in positions with the sim. I know my role. I delegate. I am not a defensive player by any means, clearly thus far in this game at least. We had a really good response out of the halftime break. We went up 13-12. Then you see ultimately 9-6. We lost by 2. We lost on a game-winning field goal. And I have a bone to pick. I've got gripes with a little bit of an issue in game. No excuses. I got to be better. Ultimately, what happened? Toward the end of the game, I was in and around the red zone, not quite. And I'm chewing clock. I'm trying to run the ball out, win the game, get another first down. Didn't quite work out. We ultimately look at a 3rd down. So we're past the 2-minute warning. And Ole Miss is out of timeouts. But all of a sudden, with give or take a minute 30 and change left, an injury timeout occurs. Walter Nolan goes down, and the clock just stops there. It didn't run another 30, 40 some odd seconds, and then you factor in the time of the play itself. Ole Miss ended up getting the ball. Of course, I missed a field goal attempt, to be clear, but Ole Miss ended up getting another upwards of 50 seconds that just should not have happened. I don't know if maybe I'm totally misreading and misinterpreting the rules here, but that just doesn't sound right. That a injury timeout under the 2-minute warning, it effectively served as a true 4th timeout for Ole Miss. So that completely altered the game itself, or at least in my view it did. See the overall performance, we better first downs, more total offense. We even had some yards per carry, success running the ball. 3rd downs, 4 for 9, 4 for 12. We were better in that sense. They did get a 4th down conversion, which was, unfortunately, on that last drive. Then you see 2-point conversion attempts. We ultimately could have secured a win by converting on 2-point conversions, and we just didn't. We fell short in that sense. Red zone touchdown to field goal percentage, you see, that's just horrible. 1 for 3 in the red area, that's just bad. And look, we turned it over twice. Just not going to work. So that led us to, well, a 1-4 record through the first 5 games. This, though, was the big time response. We go from home to away at Bryant-Denny. We dominate Alabama 28-7, which at the time they were top 5, 7th, I believe. Give or take, it doesn't matter. It was a big-time win, nonetheless. Big-time win for the program. We just dominated 21-4. The defense completely came to play there. And let me tell you, you can absolutely feel the effect as an away team. Your play art, your audibles actually aren't even the correct audibles. I don't know if it was just my experience or maybe given the players, but and the relative standing of our team talent-wise compared to Bama, but it was just insane. It was so difficult offensively, but found a way to get it done. You're rushing. 41 for 193, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns, rather. That was the key. That was the absolute key. Total offense. Look at that disparity. I mean, unbelievably stout. Unbelievably. 20 for 10 yards rushing. 0.5, half a yard for Alabama rushing. Unbelievable. Game of the life. Game of our defenders' lives. They were unbelievable. All credit to them. Obviously, I didn't really do anything. And then, even still, we lost a turnover battle, but overall, just incredible. And then you look at the player stats. Lenoris, okay, yards, 2-1. We're cutting down the interceptions. Only a couple sacks. Getting him involved in the run game. 7 for 34, keeping in mind the sack yardage does play a role. Really nice compliment between Oscar Attaway, and Raheem Rocket Sanders. Both these guys happen to be power backs, although One's only 5'10", the other's 6'2". One has a credible amount of max out abilities with Rocket there. Just really unfortunate that we got off to the start that we did. You guys have seen, we have had a chance thus far through 5 games to be 5-0, yet we're 1-4. Until we come into here, get the big time win, and we end up being 2-4. You can see the receiving Rocket Center's a big time game for him overall. Leaning on him, I want to get the quick game going. I have learned I can't force the issue, guys. Don't force the issue. Nick Harbor with a big playability that he is. Number 8, Oklahoma, that's what they are ranked now. They were actually unranked at the time that we played them. And look at this bitter pill to swallow, guys. Somehow, we're up at the half, 7-6. We go down 12-7. We go up in the fourth. And then, what would you know? I decide that after not trusting my defense in Ole Miss in the sim, I end up taking control. And lo and behold, I let them march down the field. Oklahoma nearly scored a touchdown, but they score a field goal to force overtime. And let me just tell you, in overtime, I got down inside the 5, inside the 3, and I got shut out. You could even see they only got 6 on their possession, so a touchdown plus any more could have been a win. But I fell short, totally on me. Not nearly as much success running the ball overall, only 3 per carry. They had over 6. Yards per pass as well, just not great. On an individual player standpoint, Lenoris, tough game. I need to be better. Rushing, Lenoris, the attempts, carries, that's a big thing. A big part of the offense, a concerted effort going forward. Attaway was the most successful rusher, over 5 a carry. Receiving, again, I leaned on Rocket as that dual running and receiving threat. He got a lot of rack as well, indicative of just the style that I'm kind of forced to play. Take your medicine, not go uber aggressive all the time against Heisman difficulty. And overall, just a quiet game there. Not great. Another heartbreaker. We're 2-5. Could arguably 7-0. It's incredible. A little bit of luck for, but mostly against. Not great. So that left us at 1-2 through those 3 games of this second trimester, so to speak. We resound with a big-time performance at home against A&M, who was at the time a top 10 team. They fall back, they're 20th now, but just domination similar to Alabama. So can you believe we're 3-5? 2 of the wins were against top 10 teams, and then the other one was Akron. Just an incredible season, roller coaster so far. 24-8 in this game. Dominance in the first down battle. Nearly dominant, same degree of almost double the yardage, total offense. Had some success, run the ball again, 4.7 a carry. Yards per pass, even a little bit better than what it had been. Passing yards overall, not crazy. When we go into just the player stats, no turnover, interception-wise for Lenoris. That's a big-time step up for me. Rushing, though, Lenoris, huge for us. 9 for 75. I really got to utilize him in the run game. I've got 3 good running backs, effectively, who rushes the ball. I want to make it clear. Lenoris is not a running back. I want to make that abundantly clear. But he absolutely has the threat to be a force in that sense. 4.2, only 2.5 for Attaway per, but it was that 8.3 for Lenoris LRC was big time. I have to really maximize his strength by being open to getting out of the pocket relatively quick. Not having happy feet, but when I see step up a little bit, initial instinct, you step up, and then a lot of the times, I know not the experts kind of alluded to it, you step up in the pocket. The interior of my line oftentimes does get a good amount of depth for me to actually laterally go left to right, roll out in that sense, just get a whole different play in effect, a freedom of time that I never really thought I would have by rolling out a little bit, and you get to see things in terms of the developing concepts or the routes that you might have on any given play. It's been a big time revelation for me. I think I might have found something. Out of these first 8 games, we're 3-5, 2-4 in the SEC, near the bottom of the SEC. But it was a big time 2-2 performance compared to what was the 1-3 of the first 4 games where, oh my gosh, look at those points allowed. It's just inexcusable. 50 average points per game. Just incredible. And we've only got, well, I should say only, we've got 2 ranked teams at the time of playing them on the rest of the schedule. Mizzou and Clemson. 3-1, that's really the goal. 3-1 in this stretch. We end up at 6-6. Still not good enough. I want to be undefeated. I want to be 4-0. Vandy needs to be a win. FCS Southeast, shout out to, speaking to not the expert, Has to be a win. And then we're home against Mizzou, the Battle of Columbia at Clemson. Needs to be a win in the rivalry game. A huge opportunity for potential recruits and getting them over the line in the Palmetto series. Just has to be a win. And you see, even just as an aside here, these teams that are ranked, Clemson specifically, 5-3, we're 3-5. We're the reverse. If we just had even 2 of those games, maybe even 1 when it's all said and done, because if we finish win out 8-4, we're so close to being potentially totally different complexion of the season. Maybe knocking on the top 15, top 12 even as that last at-large bid in the playoff. Just not great. Now let's get into the recruiting, just to give you guys a picture of where we do stand. It wasn't looking great whatsoever, but we made some progress. So we had Ben Maydew at the end of episode 1, was the first recruit we ever got. We've also got big time Franklin Hacker out of Beulahville, North Carolina, power rusher, defensive tackle, a 5-star, 16th overall recruit. Big time pickup for me. And you just look at his overall ability here. 92 strength, already 75 block shed, 76 play rec, 71 speed at 6'5", 304, 86 hit power, 83 excel, 84 tackle, 84 power move already. Got some abilities, got some mental. He is going to be a huge part of this program for his entirety of his, hopefully, with a full 3 years, if not 4. Hopefully no transfer risks throughout his tenure. I'm not trying to get ahead of our skis, but he is a big time get, as was Dwayne Calloway, the in-state guy out of Bluffton, a strong safety, 78 zone, 76 pursuit, not the best awareness, 85 agility's decent, 88 speed, 91 excel, not the greatest tackling, okay jumping at 6'1", 190, and he's got a good amount of mentals there. He is, again, a big piece of our future, as is Channing Berryman. You can see the gem is very nice for a 6'5", 209, 34th player, so incredible talent already. Nearly a 5-star, but with the gem, he is certainly a 5-star in my eyes. Unbelievable player with, 80 catch in traffic, 80 short route running, 92 speed, 90 spec catch, 89 excel, 96 jumping for a guy that is 6'5", 209. No one's going to be Nick Harbor, but he physically is as close as maybe you can reasonably get a lot of the time. Maybe a 75th percentile comparison, just not even close to the 99 that Nick Harbor is at 6'5", 240 and change with the jumping and the spec catch that he has. But Channing Berryman is still going to be a massive piece for a receiving room that certainly, with some transfers, some guys aging out, going to be a big time get for us. Darren Gooch as well, shoring up the offensive line, and again, another transfer, another room that just has some aging out with this year set to end, well, with us being 8/12ths of the way through this year. Darren Gooch, 40th overall, second in the state out of Hilton Head. So a hometown get again for us. Big time to dominate in our home state. Big time to keep that going. Darren Gooch, you see the pass block, run block power, the lead block, impact blocking, 89 strength, 76 excel is decent. Some mentals there. Agility not great. Run block though, 75. He is a big time player for us. 3'11", at 6'1", not the best size though, but he's certainly going to be a player that could very well factor into this group of 5 in the line, if not the preeminent depth guy rotational if things go awry due to injury or playing otherwise. Big time get, as was Robert Davis. So that marks 6 recruits thus far, and I'm not worried, to be clear. I'm not worried. My philosophy has been slow and steady wins the race as we've gotten through this rebuild. And it's really my first experience in recruiting, guys. Slow and steady wins the race. You select your targets, and given that, look, I am a power school out of the SEC. I've got 800 hours a week, so I've certainly got resources. Resource management, shout out to C4. That is huge. That is the word of the day. That's the name of the game for recruiting, resource management. But not being so absorbed in the stick count of your recruits by X amount of date. You also have the transfer portal, keeping that in mind as well. So Robert Davis, just as an aside there, big time get at corner at DB, average size, 5'11", 186 out of Jensen Beach, Florida. 79 man, 89 change of direction, awesome. 93 speed, awesome. 90 excel, awesome. He's got some press skills. You can see he's got the jammer ability, so definitely going to be a good man-to-man, a press guy. 85 agility, a big-time get for a guy that's top 100, 67th overall, 5th in his position. Big-time get with Robert Davis. Going position by position, I don't have a quarterback yet. We could potentially address it in the transfer portal, or a guy that just is, again, under-recruited. And once our recruits really get over the line, as you'll see, when we get more hours, then I'll look to really target some potential 3-4 star guys. At running back, Javier Selvia is a big-time get, hopefully, that we can maintain. 92-92, he's got some, see the gem there, elusive back out of Greenwood, a local guy. Gotta hopefully maintain our lead on him, although Tennessee's making a little bit of a push. We're getting close to the commit. I think we could very well, hopefully with some big-time wins, seal it for Javier Selvia at running back, where, again, keeping in mind, Attaway, Rocket Sanders, 2 transfers, they're going to age out, and then we need really a potential DJ Braswell, but he's at risk of transfer, as I'll get into shortly, so Javier Selvia could be a big-time piece of the offense in general. No fullbacks yet, as you saw there. I'll address that potentially later at a later date. Channing Berryman, as you can see, big-time receiver get there. Marquise Curtin, I want to prioritize getting in a receiver still, given, as I've already explained with Berryman, and the transfers, the amount of guys that are going to graduate out of the program. We can get him as a 105th player, 16th at his position, out of Moultrie, Georgia, 6'1", 165. He's got the bust logo, but for me, he's a guy that I need players, and I'm not going to just completely rule out guys just because they have a bust factor there. If he's a 3-star in theory, look, 94 agility is great. 91 excel is also nice. He's not the best stats. I get it. In terms of the recruiting, for a certain point, for sheer bodies, for sheer numbers, you do need some players, and you have to fill some needs to a degree. Maybe the bust is really indicative of development. I'm not sure quite how linked that is. Tight end, though, this is where we're really making some headway with a host of guys. Donald Mead, blocking tendency archetype, if you want to say, out of North Charleston, in-state guy, 6'3", 256, so pretty thick guy. Pause. He's got us in first place by a wide margin. And he could very well be the fullback. That's the plan I have for him in a fullback capacity, although I'm not really going to use fullbacks informationally. Anyway, Artemis Sauer, what a name and a gem, out of Heartland, Wisconsin. So that would be a big-time out-of-state get. Wisconsin, as you see, is making a big push, so it's going to be close, I think, but would be really great to get him in here. We're looking at a guy that you can see we're sending the house. You can see as a statistical 86 speed, 87 agility, 86 excel already at 6'5", 233. Again, a Diet Harbor type. We're going to be losing Josh Simon. We're at risk of losing potentially others through the transfer portal. And then Ben Schneck, another Midwest gem at tight end. He's a possession type, 6'4", 255. He's got okay stats. We don't even really see the speed just yet. But who knows what it is with the gem. 84 acceleration, 84 agility. So maybe he is around the 84, 85, 83. He's a guy that is important to bring in. And at a 4-star, bordering 50, top 50 nationally, at a gem, absolutely big time to get him. And we've got, as the only school to offer him, a guy who's fallen back behind a little bit at the wayside nationally by some schools. We're doing okay with Ben. Then going on to tackle, Manu Hart. He's going to be a point of emphasis. I've offered him a scholarship. I've got to really start recruiting him now. That's going to be a big time point of focus. And frankly, I might as well, right now, add the 15 that I can with my remaining hours, because Manu, at a gem, scouting, 83 impact, 81 strength, some acceleration, some power already at a 3-star. We want gems, certainly. And out of Myrtle Beach, hometown guy, he's a guy that is going to be a good depth. We've already talked about Darren Gooch. Chris Reinbolt as well, 78th nationally. We're getting close to getting to the top 5. We have a huge lead on him. Again, a guy out of Wisconsin, so a little bit of a pipeline, maybe potentially brewing there out of Wisconsin. Ryan Rossi, I've offered him, keeping an eye on him, potentially a pickup later, a in-state guy. Haven't really scouted or done much in that sense, just a guy that we're still targeting or identifying. And then center, Bobby Cushenberry, maybe he's related to Lloyd Cushenberry in the NFL, out of former LSU beast from that national championship team a few years ago. So maybe there's bloodlines there. A center out of Roanoke, Alabama. The stats are fine for me. He's got the bust again, but he's got pocket shield, road dog. I mean, he's a guy that I am not going to just shy away from bringing in. It's not like drafting either. We can develop. Obviously, we're controlling who we can bring in, but again, we need guys. We need guys at a certain point. Trent Drew here, we're keeping an eye on him, offered him a scholarship potentially for next week. We could get into his top here, the top 9. Lawrenceville, Georgia doesn't have a scholarship or offer yet, so that could be big for us getting in there. And you can see he's looking pretty decent already with 90 strength, 89 impact blocking. I already know he's bound to be a gem. I don't even need to really spend the extra 10 points in scouting. He's going to be a guy where, look, and not even in the top 8 yet. He's going to be a guy where we're going to have to really make a push for, I think. At defensive end, this is really the big target, potential transfer, big-time target for us. We're going to need to fill out because we're not really, technically don't have anyone yet. At defensive line, interior, we've got Franklin Hacker, big-time get for us. Outside linebacker as well, not looking great, but Ben Madu and then Alex Cons. Alex Cons, we have a huge lead on him, only school to offer. Alex Cons, as a middle linebacker, 91 speed, 89 excel, 82 tackle. He's a huge potential user as I get better, but just as a guy to put in that middle of the defense, really spine of our defense a big time later. 6'1", 235. So not the best size, but as a pass coverage guy, huge potential get for us. Already on into Robert Davis. Shaq Burrow here, a guy that's 6 foot 188, decent size. Again, a guy out of Florida, potential slot guy, as you can see, where we've got man-to-man for Robert Davis. So a potential bigger slot guy, we can always use them at 91 speed, 93 change of direction is huge, 89 excel. He's certainly a guy that, look, no abilities, but some mentals. We've got a nice lead on him. Would be a nice pickup, a nice addition. At free safety, again, the guy at Philip Chestnut looks like a bust, but out of Duncan, South Carolina, some speed, nice excel, nice agility, nice change of direction as a safety. 6 foot 198. You're competing against how many schools, right? Hundreds and hundreds of schools. You're competing against position, state, pipelines, all hosts of stuff. So you're not going to always be able to find what you're looking for to a T. That's just the way it is. So Philip Chestnut, happy to still bring in a guy like him, and Dwayne Calloway have already established. Big time get for us. But arguably, the biggest progress that we made through these 2 big time wins was as championship contender status, getting at least to a B, because look who's no longer at risk of transferring, as you might have seen at the end of episode 1. Dylan Stewart is not at risk of transferring. That is a huge sigh of relief. And just we have to keep it up. We've got to keep it up. We've got to have a huge third trimester of the regular season, which I'll be streaming tonight. I'll figure it out, guys. I'm happy to see hopefully some of you later tonight. Got to get that up. Have to get that up. We're going to have to get some bowl game wins. Just a lot more success than we've gotten. Brand exposure, C+. Jalen Kilgore is at risk of transferring at strong safety, so that makes Chestnut, that makes Callaway at safety even bigger priorities. When we look at Braswell, potentially losing him, it makes Javier Selvia even more important. On the fringe of getting into the B- territory. So you can see it's the national, it's games played on different levels, all that. So hopefully we can rectify that. We're looking good elsewhere. Really no one at risk of transferring. We're in a good position. Compared to last episode, we are in a much better position, guys. You can see nationally, our class not anywhere to be seen in the first initial 25, 30, 40. We're at 41, but that's just sheerly a quantity. We focus on quality. That's what we've done. We've resourced, managed in a way. We focus on quality, and you can see here our top 6 commits thus far. 2-5, 4-4, and we're going to be adding to that very shortly, hopefully, later tonight that you can catch. Guys, thank you for watching this, bearing with me for this episode. I will see you later today, Wednesday. We've got a big-time end of the regular season, and you know what? We're going to play through. In the event we assumingly do get a bowl appearance, it's going to be a heck of a stream.